Have you ever had, shall we say, horizontal refreshment with a woman from the continent of Europe?
Yes, indeed, I have.
You?
Yes.
From
yes.
where?
Germany.
Germany? Oh, you said the other night you didn't think German women were very attractive.
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
No,
No.
you did?
Yeah, well, this was on a beach in Mallorca. So you can't really see what they look like at that time of the night.
On a beach?
After
in
16-hour bladderation
was she
session.
face down or something?
No, but I had double vision at the time.
We are the Two Mikes, and I'm delighted to say, coming to the end of a very tumultuous week, not just for us, but for many other people as well. It's time to say very good morning to Mr. Mike Parry. Very good morning to Mr. Parry.
Well, Mike, look, a very good morning to you as well.
Yes.
But let's get something sorted out before the show gets underway.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to be in a mood.
Rules of the engagement scenario.
Well, I just don't want you to feel moody about something that was beyond my control.
Yes,
It wasn't
all right.
my fault,
Tell
okay?
me what it was.
So I go upstairs, and, as per usual, I get myself some chocolate.
You got yourself some chocolate?
Yes.
Okay.
And I get you some chocolate. I always do, don't I?
Sometimes you do, yeah.
No, I always do.
I mean, you don't always do it. I mean,
Well,
it's
excuse me.
Occasionally you get me chocolate.
Hang on. You have never bought me any chocolate.
That's true.
Right. If I go upstairs because I fancy a bit of chocolate, I always get you some because I'm a good colleague. You agree with that?
I would say you've bought me many bars of chocolate in the past.
Thank you.
But it's not on a regular basis, is what I'm saying.
Right, thank you. So tonight we get in and we find we have a new dispensing machine.
Oh, yeah.
What do you call it? Snacks and drinks and
Well,
crisps
a vending machine you would call
it,
it,
A vending machine,
Yeah.
that's right. I used to have a vending machine empire, actually, but I'll tell you about
Did
that
you?
later. Yeah. No.
A vending machine empire?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
How can you used to have a vending machine empire? Why would you not still have it?
Oh, well, because I had
Did you manage to make a mess of that as well, did you?
No, it was good, but I had other things to do.
I see.
Now, so I got up tonight, right, and I'm armed only with two £1 coins.
Right.
And each bar of chocolate costs 60p.
I was going to say, in this day and age, 50p doesn't get you much, does it?
Doesn't get you much. So I put my first pound in, which was an old pound.
Yeah.
And I get myself a...
What did you get?
The one in the blue. What's it called?
A Boost?
A Boost bar. Thank you very much indeed.
It's quite chewy, that, isn't it?
It's quite chewy.
I quite like a Boost, actually.
I like a Boost, yeah. But I normally get you a Whisper bar, okay?
A Whisper's good,
So then I take my second pound.
Yeah.
And this is amazing.
So you took the 40p out change, presumably?
Well, I leave it in the well. Okay,
well.
It tumbles through. Well. So then I have my second coin, which is a new £1 coin.
Very shiny. They're
12
good, aren't
edges,
they?
very shiny.
You see, apparently, despite everything that everyone said, that there are now apparently already counterfeit versions of it going around.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And this is a new machine, so I never gave it a second thought when I put it in.
Yes.
But then you hear that dreaded, clunk, 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 bang, and it's gone straight through and landed in the well.
Yes.
With the 40p.
So it's not registered at all.
I thought, well, it's just, just what? So I take it out.
Maybe it's a fake one.
Well, it could be. So I take it out, put it back in again slowly. I did that 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And no joy.
Yeah.
So I'm not then able to buy you a 60p bar of Whisper, right?
Well, you didn't have any other coins?
Well, you see, this is where you've got your mood on. You said to me, and I said, no, I don't have any coins. So you said, well, did you have your cards with you?
Yeah, cards, because
it's a touch card thing.
It takes contactless.
Well, let me tell you then exactly my thought process.
Yeah.
I did, and I reached for a card, but then guess what? Just as I was about to put the card onto the contact thing, there's a sign there which says bye-bye card, and then it says...
What?
It says buy
card.
Buy B-U-Y.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought you meant
idiot.
buy card as in we've eaten it.
No. Bye-bye card, baby, goodbye. No.
Yeah.
So bye-bye card. So.
Right.
So I was about to strike this card onto the plate until I saw the message below.
Which said?
8% surcharge on purchase.
Well, so what?
With card.
Listen, if you're buying a colleague a bar of chocolate, 8% is nothing.
I refuse.
It's a mere nothing.
I'm sorry.
Well, hang on, 8% of what? 60 pence?
Yes.
Even you can work that out. 10% would be 6p.
6p, so it would be 1/5 less than that. It's 5p.
5 pence?
Yeah.
So for 5 pence, you refuse to buy me a bar of chocolate?
It's the principle.
That's outrageous.
No, it's the principle.
Because I quite like a bar of chocolate.
I know you do, and now you're all, you're all nouty.
I like to, wait until the first break.
Yeah.
And eat it with my tea.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but on a point of principle, there was no way I was going to, give them 8%.
Why didn't you just ask me? Because I've got a bucket load of change in my pocket.
Why didn't you just go up the stairs and...
I've got loads of change here.
Well, why didn't you just go up the stairs and do it yourself then?
Because I'm too busy
Fat
preparing
and
to do
idle
the
individual.
show.
He doesn't like a flight of stairs.
I'm too busy preparing to do the show.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Oh, like I don't do any preparation for the show at all.
No, you do.
Yeah.
But, your preparation is less important than mine.
No, it's not. Mine's much more important, otherwise it wouldn't be a show.
Have you got any more updates on the hedgerows? That was very popular yesterday.
It was very popular indeed.
People have been tweeting about it all day.
They have been,
saying,
exactly.
I was going to vote for you as podcast of the year
until
you did that rubbish about the hedgerows.
Well, you see, if they can't appreciate that the world's big, greatest expert...
What's his name? Rex Cooper or something?
Something like that. World's greatest expert on hedgerows.
Hooper of the hedge.
Saved this country from agricultural decline.
Yes.
Anyway, the point of my story is, now you've got a mood on because you didn't get your bar of chocolate.
Well,
Nothing to do with me.
I haven't got a mood on.
One of these days...
concerned that you would eschew buying me something for the sake of 5 pence.
Well, it's the principle. Listen, put it this way. If all the money I have, if the wealth that I've garnered over working for the last 45 years, because I started working when I was about 12, right?
Yeah.
As a kid.
And you've never stopped since, have you?
I have never stopped. If 8% of that disappeared because people said, to give you the privilege of buying something from us, we're going to charge you an extra 8%.
Yeah.
I'd have hardly any money.
I mean, people do it all the time.
Well, they're not doing it to me.
Right.
They don't do it to me all the time, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but hang on. You're the same man who walks into a pub and buys a pint of beer, and in order to keep yourself sweet with the guy behind the bar, you hand him a £20 tip. You're the same guy. You're the same guy. Explain to us how you send out a taxi late at night when you need to have, your Pinot Grigio stocks replenished.
Yes.
And you pay something like £100 to a taxi driver who would normally charge you 15 to go to a shop and back.
No, this is all completely...
So why is 5 pence suddenly a problem?
This is all completely out of sync. That has happened on the odd occasion when bladderation overload has kicked in.
Yeah, but the point is you're not short of a few bob, are you?
Well, yes, but I'm not going to be ripped off. I'm not going to be ripped off for it.
Yeah, but you give people ludicrous amounts of money to do very normal things. When your guy washes your car, which would normally be about £10, you give him 40.
No, I didn't. I gave him 22.
Well, 22. It's more than 100% over the top.
I promise you, I've never given a barman a £20 tip just for giving me a drink.
I've seen you doing it.
No,
I have.
I've never given a barman
I've
a £20
seen you doing
tip.
it.
Where?
Yeah, I saw you do it in Dr. Inks across the road.
Dr. Inks?
Dr. Inks across the road, yes.
It must have been late at night.
It wasn't particularly late at night. You were just trying to show off.
What I used to do is I used to go to this Indian restaurant and I used to give the guy who'd serve me, I did give him a £20 tip, I have to admit. And then I felt guilty because his mate started giving me...
you gave them all £20.
Yeah, I did, yeah. His mate started giving me the evil eye.
So for all these people that you've never met before in your life...
He'd served me one of the courses.
And will never see again, you're quite happy to dole out, loads and loads of dosh.
Nevertheless...
But for me, you won't spend an extra 5 pence.
I think it's a little off of you to suddenly be offhand with me because I refuse to give in to the commercial pressure of having to pay an extra 8% for a bar of chocolate in a machine when it won't even take British currency, which is basically what the situation is.
Well, it won't take the new currency.
Well, which is British currency.
I've got even more bad news for you, right?
What's that?
I went to sort out my new pension yesterday. You know, if you run a company in this country, you are now obliged by the government to set up a pension scheme for everyone who works for you, even if you only are one person working for yourself.
Exactly, you've got to have your own pension.
And guess what? I've now received a flurry of because my accountant's firm has now set it up for me, right? I've now started to receive a flurry of emails from the so-called pensions regulators.
Oh yeah, those
telling
people,
me that I can do this, I can do that. What I need to do is this, and I have to pay them this, and I mean, it's an absolute that's a red tape nightmare.
When I set mine up, within a few days, I got this advisory saying that because I'm minimalising it because I've got other pensions and things. Saying that I could immediately draw down £1.56 from my initial payment into my pension. £1.56.
Well, you could use that to buy me some chocolate.
Tax free.
Yeah, well done.
Tax free.
I'm getting this from Richard Hardy, right? Who calls himself the Employer Services Manager.
Yeah.
And Richard says we provide online support and answers to frequently asked questions at nestpensions.org.
Yeah.
If you're having difficulty using the website, you can contact our technical support team. I don't want a pension.
No.
All right. I don't want you to send me emails. I don't want to give you any money.
Yeah.
I'd like you just to bugger off, please. But they won't do it.
And did you notice what they slipped out in the covers, of general election sort of coverage yesterday? They're now conceding that small businessmen, which you and I are classified as, if we...
Right. Some are smaller than others.
Small, yeah, exactly. Will not have to, after all, send in 5 tax returns a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They were going to... That idiot, George Osborne...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean... Maybe you're not an idiot, but I think you're an idiot.
Don't worry, he's stepping down as an MP.
I know. Yeah.
So he's no longer involved in the process.
Yeah. Maybe you're not classified as an idiot, but I think, it's my opinion, my personal
opinion. That's no way
opinion.
to talk about the new editor of the Evening Standard.
Free and that's true. Actually, I might need a job one day. Mr. Osborne, formerly, I may have said things about you which I did not mean. I used to think you were... No, I've defended you against idiocy.
Yes.
I think you're a good guy. But what I was about to say was, I thought that you plan to introduce paying, tax returns 5 times
well, luckily
a year.
he's not doing that anymore.
Was a little excessive.
Yes.
But I'm glad to say that you obviously have reconsidered this and now
now you're going to be the editor of a newspaper.
The editor of a newspaper is a good thing to be.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, I believe in the freedom of the press. Good on you, sir.
Yeah, very well done.
Yeah.
Here's one from Matt who says, this explains why Porky is on the cusp of millionairedom. He's a tight-fisted cheapskate.
What?
You know, that's his view of after your story about, not wishing to spend 5p. Here's another one.
That's very harsh.
Your preparation is crucial, MG. If not for that, we'd have a whole show dictated by Porky on hedges. Says Pascal.
I'm getting a bit of unfair stick on that one,
It's true, yeah, it is.
Some people realise what an important issue agriculture in this country is.
Well, Paul says this, the secret's out, Porky's 57. 45 plus 2, he just said. I don't remember you saying that.
No, well, I said that I've been working for 45 years and I started work when I was 12.
Oh, I see.
On my newspaper round.
Okay.
Somebody put the figures together.
Oh, right.
I will concede they are sort of rough figures. Rough figures, yeah.
Here's one from Nicholas who says, Porky had a 60p request declined by the bank then. Blimey, his tenants must be very concerned.
Yeah, well, they would be, yeah. Well,
now, here's a good one.
Somebody's left an old van in my street.
Really?
Oh, it's a disgrace.
What sort of old van?
I mean, so old, it's unbelievable.
What, you mean like an old transit van?
It's an old transit. It's not a transit. I think it's a Renault or something. But it's a big van, right? It's a big van. And it suddenly appeared.
Right.
So, of course, I made the representations that you would make in a stockbroker belt type road.
Well, when you say representations, what did you do?
Well, I got somebody to get onto the person at the council who gets rid of these things,
okay.
right?
So you walked out, presumably, and had a look at the van.
Well, I saw the van, right.
What, from your eyrie?
Yes, I did, yes.
Right. You spied it?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Well, did you not go down and check it out? Because that's what I would have done.
Well, it was there for a day, and I thought somebody... You immediately think somebody's parked it, but except it was parked awkwardly. It's like 2.5 feet from the curb, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the back, but not at the front, so I thought there's something really odd here.
Yeah.
And the other thing that led me to believe it probably wasn't a working van was that the back door was tied on with rope. yeah.
Well, you do see that from time to time.
Well, yeah, but it's such a big van, it's got a middle door halfway down.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of 1/3 open.
Oh, really?
And
do you think it may have been used in some kind of robbery?
Well,
this
is the point. So I got somebody to ring the council.
Right.
You're right, though. Maybe the police should have checked it out, except for the fact that there are already about 6 parking tickets on it. So I think it does come to the attention of those authorities.
I had a police round today, bizarrely.
Really?
But I'll tell you about that later.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, anyway, now this van is so knackered. This is what worries me, that because I rang the alarm bells, you know, and I have a bit of influence in the area, within a few hours... one of these pickup trucks turns up to tow it away.
Oh, to tow it away. Was it a police one? Because there are 2 kinds, aren't there?
Well, I'm not
there's
sure.
There's the police kind and there's the regular kind.
Well, this is a yellow one, right? And I think it was an independent contractor from the council.
Okay.
But you know what they do is they put the platform down at the back, then they get the wire off, they attach the wire, and then the pump starts turning the wire around, and it pulls the van onto the back, and then you take it away.
Well, they can do that only if they can put the van into neutral.
Well, I was about to say, this van is so knackered, it wouldn't move.
So I was going to say, did you have to get inside it to put it into neutral, no?
I don't think it was that. Do you not think it is?
What?
At least one of the tyres is flat.
Right.
And the others, I think, are, flattish, so to speak. And I just don't think they could move it on what was left of the tyres.
Right.
So they've got a big job. They have to get a crane or something to get rid of it. But
they
get rid
should
of
be
it
able
soon.
to lift it onto a pickup truck of some description.
You'd have thought so.
Yeah.
You'd have thought so.
So
but
it's still there then, as far as you know?
Still there when I came out tonight. And I'm saying to myself, the value of my property is diminished by at least 10%.
No, the value of your property is diminishing by the day.
Well, no, you've got
all sorts of reasons.
Some literally filthy, rusting, knackered,
your
broken
area
down old van
has now become known as a dumping ground.
Well,
Did you not tell me that the next door building has already become like a fly tipper's paradise, including stuff that you dumped there?
Yes,
because you didn't want to leave stuff to be taken away.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, but I don't feel any guilt about that because I know that's going to be levelled within a month because they're going to build a brand new block of apartments.
Actually, I've got a question to ask you about that.
I'm going to buy a couple.
You're going to buy a couple?
Well, probably.
Man of the people.
Or whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
How much are they?
Oh. Well, you wouldn't get one for under 350,000. Put it that way.
So you're willing to spend up to £800,000?
Well, no. I mean, I'm saying that generically.
Will you be obtaining a mortgage?
No. I'm saying this generically. I'm talking about always having an eye on property investment in the locality.
Yes, okay.
That's all.
You already live there, though.
Sorry?
You already live there.
Well, I might move into one if it's better than the one I live in now.
Oh, right. Flog the one you've got?
No, I'd rent that out to somebody. Because there is a need.
Just to add to the portfolio. Now, here's a question. Yeah. Now, I've got a really old television, right, which I need to throw out.
Is it a flat screen?
No, it's an really old, ancient thing.
Well, like a box thing?
Yeah, it's like a box, which I had when I moved into this place, right? It was there about 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
I mean, do you use it?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No.
So it's a bit of useless furniture?
It's like a bit of useless furniture. And
where do you hide this? In the corner of the room?
Well, I've had it sort of sitting at the bottom of a cupboard for the last, but I need to make some space.
How big is it?
It's about, I think the screen is about sort of 12, 13 inches.
So it's only what we used to call
a
portable telly.
Yeah, it's got a little handle on the top.
Yeah, right.
It's got a handle on the top.
Right.
And I need to get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think I can just chuck it in the bin. I think I might need to take it somewhere because I know that if I was in Sussex, right, I would know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
I would take it to the town dump where they have a special place where you can put electrical
goods.
Yeah,
that's right, yeah.
That's fine.
Well, don't you know if there's... Well, why don't you put it in your car and take it with you and next time you go to Sussex?
Because I don't want to take it all the way to Sussex.
Well, it seems easy.
I want to just chuck it out.
What's the alternative?
Well, I could either just put it in the... we've got these massive bins at the bottom of my sort of complex of apartments, right?
So you bury it in the bottom of one of them?
I could chuck it in there, but I think that would be unwise.
Well, wait, no. I'll tell you the way to do that. Yeah. Wait until the day of the bins being emptied, so they're completely empty, and then gently put it in on the bottom, and then all the rest of the rubbish will go on top of it.
No, but that's not the right thing to do, is it?
Well, they won't know. Then when
I'm not trying to do something surreptitiously.
No, you're not doing surreptitiously. What I'm saying is when they pick the bin up and everything swishes into the cruncher van,
a big TV comes out.
It doesn't matter. It will get crunched up in that machine that eats all the rubbish.
No, but there's a reason why they ask you to recycle electrical goods in some other way.
I wouldn't worry about it. It sounds so old and knackered. It's no good to anybody.
I don't think it is any good to anybody, but you still have to put it somewhere special, I think.
Right.
The other alternative, I suppose, is to basically chuck it in the river.
Oh, no. I'm not doing that. You pollute it for fish.
Of course, I'm joking. I would not do that.
Well, I don't think you were joking. You looked very serious to me.
No, I would not throw it in the river.
I've
lived by the river for 8 years. I've never thrown anything in the river. Ever.
I'm not sure about that.
I've never done it. I thought about throwing a couple of things in, but I never did.
I would put it in the old F space and take it to Sussex and dispose of it properly.
What do you mean, the F pace?
F pace.
See, Anthony Joshua's got one now.
No,
picture of him. Yeah, he has.
He's probably got a lot of cars.
Yeah, no, he's got an F pace.
Yeah, all right. Well, he's probably got a lot of cars.
Why do you get so upset about it?
I don't get upset at all.
You are.
I don't get
Anyway,
upset
so the cops came round to me this morning, right? There was a knock on the door.
Yeah, right.
And I was asleep.
Yes.
Oh, look, there's Gareth A. Davis on the television. I haven't seen him for a while.
Golly, he's not very photogenic,
No, he is. No, he's looking well.
Yeah, okay,
he's looking very well.
Yeah.
A big knock on the door, right? About 11 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
And I was just half asleep, so I woke up, put my dressing gown on, went to the door.
Put your dressing gown on?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Very gentlemanly.
Well, I thought I should, But I always wonder whether at 11 o'clock in the morning people think, look, this is layabout.
Yeah, that's right. It's rock star lifestyle, so it's okay.
I don't go to sleep till like 6 o'clock.
No,
so,
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, the guy goes, I'm terribly sorry to bother you. It's the police, because I don't know, I'll open the door until I know who it is.
Well, can't you see through your peephole?
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
But sometimes people are pretending to be something they're not.
Well, okay.
I had that incident before. So, very short guy, tiny, really small.
Well, a midget policeman.
Well, he wasn't really a midget, that would be unkind.
Okay, yeah.
But very, very small.
Yeah.
Said he was from the Walworth Road Police Station, which is not that far away.
I've been in there, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's down off the borough High Street.
I know where it is, yeah.
Yeah, Elephant Castle. What were you doing in there? Did you get arrested?
No, I was going out with a girl who lived in a flat nearby. Whose window had been taken out, and a burglar had gone in and taken her telly.
Oh dear!
Yes,
right.
So I had to get her some, what do they call
crime forms to fill in?
No, the things you put inside windows, which you can pull out and lock when you go out, like a grill.
Oh yeah. So I had to get that from the police station.
I can get it from the police station, but if you go and seek advice from the police,
Well, there's no point doing that.
No. You get a discount on instalments and all that. Yeah, it's true.
Honestly. Discount?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's such a cheapskate.
No.
I mean, you'll think nothing is spending $800,000 on two apartments.
No,
but you're looking for a police discount on some crappy, iron filings to put in the window.
Anyway,
so this guy said, terribly sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
I said, I was asleep actually. He said, I'm sorry to have woken you up. He said, I'm just asking some questions about an incident. Yeah. And I said, all right. I said, what sort of incident are you talking about?
You say, I've been involved in quite a lot of incidents, actually.
Yeah. On the grounds of, of legal advice, I refused to answer. I said, what sort of incident are you talking about? He said, well, it happened on Christmas Eve. Bear in mind, it's now April, right? Nearly the end of April.
Yeah.
He's asking about something that happened on Christmas Eve.
Okay, yeah.
I said, well, to be honest, I wasn't here on Christmas Eve. And he went, oh, well, in that case, you probably can't help me. I said, well, no, I probably can't.
Well, what is it, though?
He wouldn't tell me.
Really?
No. I said, well, what's... He said, oh, it's something that happened in the street. I said, well, do you need to tell me about it? He's like, no, I don't know. If you weren't here, then you weren't here. So I went, okay.
Well, how does he not know that you may have spoken to a neighbour since then who related some tale to you about the incident that took place?
Maybe he's not a very good copper. I don't know.
Not very good cop, I'm telling you.
I mean, if he's been
quality
working...
of police in this country is going down.
If he's doing, a sort of, major investigation...
Yes.
6 or 7 months, well, certainly 5 months after the event. What's the point?
I've no idea.
Yeah. Anyway...
Doesn't make any sense to me.
We got loads to do. We're going to talk to our friends, Mr. Will Gavin and Ollie Hunter, coming up a little bit later on. They're at the NFL draft. They're watching it in Philadelphia, by the way.
I wouldn't mind being in Philadelphia, you know.
I'd rather be here than in Philadelphia. It was on W.C. Field's grave.
And isn't in that famous Southern Belle film, what was it called? With...
Southern Belle?
Yeah, the greatest film of all time, Scarlett O'Hara and all that.
Oh, Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. Didn't he say, frankly, my damn... frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I'd rather be in Philadelphia, didn't he?
I don't know if he says I'd rather be in Philadelphia.
Yeah, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, but I don't know about the Philadelphia
Rather be in Philadelphia.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
We are the Two Mics. You can tweet us at the Two Mics, of course, and we've got lots more coming up. There's an interesting story, actually, on the front page of The Guardian about how some poor little village in South Korea has been transformed into a kind of missile base for the Americans.
That's right, yeah.
Some place which is once a retreat for amateur golfers. The Lot Seonggu Country Club is now in the hands of the most powerful military in the world and its South Korean allies.
Yes.
On land where dispirited golfers once cursed badly sliced drives, work is underway to rush into service a missile defence system able to locate and destroy North Korean missiles before they threaten South Korea.
Isn't that shocking?
So, I mean, if you're in that part of the world...
Well, I don't get over there very much, thank you, and don't intend to.
I think we should go.
Eh?
I think we should go.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
South Coast Superman says, just place my vote for you in the podcast awards. There will be no competition. We should say that thank you to everyone who has voted in the podcast awards.
Yes.
I think the voting is open until tomorrow.
Yeah, it's 5 p.m. today.
So Friday, yes.
Today, Friday, that's right, yeah, absolutely, yes.
So if you haven't done it yet, we'll put it out a couple more times.
We certainly will, but we really do appreciate your support. Thank you very much indeed.
We'd quite like to win it, just because we like winning things. Taxi Man says this, Mr. Parry's very sneaky and slick about throwing out the television.
Well, no, I'm not. What I'm saying is do it the proper way. Put it in the back of your car.
No, you said put it at the bottom of the bin so nobody would notice.
Oh, well, yeah, that's one way of doing it because it won't harm anybody. When it gets eaten up in the back of those huge lorries, what do they call the garbage trucks?
Yeah, garbage trucks.
It won't cause any problems to anybody. I just think that's the easiest way to do it.
I got stuck behind one coming up Hatfields tonight, by the way. I don't know what it was collecting at this time of night. Yeah. Here's one from Fergal. He says, Porky reminds me of Norris out of Coronation Street. Sticks his nose into everything.
Who does?
Norris.
No, sorry. Who's he comparing Norris to?
You.
Who is?
The Fergal.
For what reason?
He says, well, because you're always sticking your nose into everything that goes on around your street.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I object to some crook dumping this...
How do you know he's a crook?
Well, he's not a straight man, is he? And this knackered old van, which is despoiling the view in my street in Stockbroker Belt, Surrey, one of the most valuable pieces of real estate in the world.
Yeah.
And you think I'm sticking my nose in because I want it taken away?
Well, he's saying that, not me.
Well, perhaps Fergal likes the street he lives in, and it's littered with filthy old trucks and old tramps living in the back of them or something like that. Enjoy your environment,
Fergal. To me, the area that you're now living in has become a dumping ground for all kinds of things. I think you might want to move.
Oh, yeah, like what else?
No, well, you told me there's a fly tipping section just down the road.
I've told you that...
You used it yourself.
I've used it because I know it's going to be cleared soon. Okay. Very soon the bulldozers are moving in.
Really?
So are the...
But it must look horrendous at the
moment.
What
I call the peck machines to knock the building down.
The peck machines.
They used to have the swinging ball, didn't they? They don't have that
wrecking
anymore.
Ball.
Last time you saw a wrecking ball was in an episode of The Sweeney.
Or a video for, what was it, Taylor Swift?
Was it? Yeah, okay.
On top of a wrecking ball.
Oh, I've no idea. And I have to say, it's not there anymore. It's the old back, and it goes in and it literally...
Sure, not imagining that.
No, it pecks the building to death, believe me. And that's due soon, and so that'll clear the whole site. So there's no reason why you shouldn't take advantage of the facilities that are going to be there quite soon.
Mark says this, frankly, my damn, I'm an absolute plank. You deserve a medal,
right, yeah.
I think he's saying to me.
Yes, okay.
There's no mention of Philadelphia in that particular speech in Gone with the Wind, by the way.
Philadelphia Freedom.
Yeah, that's a song by... but you know Philadelphia Freedom was actually the name of a tennis team? You know that, right?
I see. Is that why he wrote it?
When Elton John wrote the song, because they tried for a while at the beginning of, I suppose it must have been.
Yes.
The 70s, 80s, they tried to start sort of team tennis in America.
Yeah.
The idea being that, the tennis tour was all very well.
Right.
The ATP tour and all the rest of it. But what they wanted to do was try and glam it up a bit.
Right, okay.
So they tried to get cities to have a tennis team.
Okay, fine.
And the Philadelphia team, why are you saying this as if you don't care?
No, I do.
I can tell when you don't care because you adopt a certain tone.
No.
You want to move on very quickly.
No.
And Elton John was hired by the Philadelphia Freedom, who were the Philadelphia team,
I see,
to write a song about their tennis team.
Oh, I see.
And that's why Philadelphia Freedom is a song about the tennis team.
It's also a song about failure by the sound of it, because it never happened, yeah?
Well, the whole tennis thing never really took off. It's a bit like when they first started to do the Football League, soccer-wise. It didn't work out. Because, I mean, people just don't want to go and watch team tennis.
Sorry, what do you mean the Football League didn't work out?
Well, when they started the North American Soccer League.
Oh, I see, in America.
Pelé,
sure.
And Rodney Marsh.
No, I totally agree
and George
with that.
Best.
Totally agree.
And all those people that went over and played. Dennis Stewart, I think, played.
Yes.
And it just kind of faded away.
Yes, no.
So the problem was the same for the tennis.
Love will fade away.
Yeah. You're just going to sing your way through.
No.
Wrecking Ball was Miley Cyrus, says Andrew.
Oh, Miley Cyrus.
I remember she was naked, wasn't she?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
You don't expect me to keep up with all this sort of stuff.
I don't dwell on those sort of things, to be honest. Now, I need to tell you a few things about what's going on.
Yeah, what is going on?
Well, I don't think that Marianne Fellaini, who, of course, used to be an Everton player,
Marouane,
was necessarily guilty of a vicious attack on Aguero tonight.
Have you seen the picture on the back page of one of the tabloids?
Yeah, but what I think he was doing was he lowered his face to talk to him because Aguero is substantially shorter than Marianne Fellaini, and then Aguero, I think, took complete advantage of the boy by pushing his head into Fellaini's forehead and then fell to the ground screaming.
There is a bit of that.
There's quite a lot of that.
There is a problem with footballers. If you put your head towards another footballer, inevitably the person that you're putting your head towards will fall over and claim that he's been terribly poleaxed by your head.
Yeah.
Very bad idea by Fellaini, particularly since it was seconds after he'd just been given a yellow card for already chopping Aguero down.
And he'd gone chasing him because he felt aggrieved that he got a yellow card.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree with that.
So I have no sympathy for Fellaini.
I agree with a lot of that.
Who is a bit of a sort of head case, you have to say, don't you?
Fellaini?
Yeah.
He's erratic.
Well, he's a head case.
But he's wonderfully erratic, in my view. You know, he's
Nutter is the headline on the back page of one of the papers.
Well, I mean, that referring to the physical interaction between the two.
Right.
Now, I have come across some research evidence, which is going to help you enormously.
Oh, yeah.
From one of my science journals.
Okay.
Listen to this.
Go on.
Office air conditioning makes you fat.
Now, I saw something on this.
Now, this could be your problem.
What do you mean, my problem?
Well, you're always complaining about the air conditioning, and of course you have an excess weight problem.
I don't, one, have an excess weight problem, and two, I don't complain about the air conditioning. So apart from that, you're completely and utterly right in your assessment. What makes you think I complain about the air conditioning?
Well, you do all the time.
I don't.
You do. You say it's too hot and then it's too cold.
Well, if it's too hot,
this is because your metabolism, you see, is being wrecked by air conditioning.
No. If I say it's too hot, it's because the heat has been put on, right? If I say it's too cold, it's because the cold has been put on.
Okay. Well, it says here, experiencing a range of temperatures can have such a powerful effect on our health that officers should consider varying the climate with the seasons. Their suggestion comes as they publish research showing that exposing diabetic people in particular to moderately low temperatures produces positive changes in their metabolism. Now, years ago, you and I talked about the situation in which we both grew up in homes without central heating.
Yes.
And it didn't do us any harm.
And there was no air conditioning either.
No air conditioning, no central heating. Yeah. That keeps you healthy and fit. Because if you live in a house that's permanently warm...
And sealed,
absolutely right, there are a number of side effects. One of them is that your body never reacts to... like cold on your skin, which is very good for you.
Yes.
And the second one is that you will ingest germs from a circulatory block of air, which never goes outside.
Yes.
Right?
Well, it's like living in a plane, isn't it?
Living in a plane.
Where basically you never have any fresh air.
Living in a box.
I have a window open at all times in any place that I'm living in. Yes. I never have lived in an air-conditioned cell, if you like.
That's right.
I mean, you've got your the place in Gosport. I think you're more likely to have, say, internal.
I can open the windows and the air comes in across the Portsmouth Harbour sea,
which is very nice air.
It is. It's very nice air indeed. It says here, nowadays in modern society, we are not forced to undertake physical activity. We are not exposed to a variation in temperature.
Yeah.
This research comes from Maastricht University.
Maastricht, very nice. I haven't heard that for a while.
That was where the original European treaty was signed.
Well, it used to be where you'd have correspondence, wasn't it? I remember when I worked as the foreign editor for the Express. Yeah. We had a correspondent in Maastricht.
I went to Maastricht.
It was useless, by the way.
I went to Maastricht once because the draw for the European Champions League was made.
Yeah, I've never been there. Is it kind of on the Belgian-French border?
It's so remote that I had to get a plane which only had 6 seats and 2 propellers from somewhere like Amsterdam to get there.
Really?
It's very remote. Yeah,
it is remote. Yeah,
it is on the border somewhere. Yeah, but anyway, look, the guy at this university is one of the world's experts. His name is Wouter van Marken Lekkenbelt, and he's
say that again.
Wouter van Marken
Lekkenbelt,
professor from Maastricht University. Says our body.
Lekkenbelt.
Yeah, Lekkenbelt. Yeah. It's a strange name, isn't it? Our body was not evolved in such an environment, and now we get bodies that become obese, insulin insensitive, and in the end diabetic.
Yes,
it's partly because of the way we live, and it's not a healthy situation. So
it's
there you
not
go.
a healthy situation. No, I mean, funnily enough, my father, who you've often ridiculed on this programme, was one of those people who said that central heating was one of the worst things that had ever been invented.
Well, he could be right.
And he refused. At one point, actually, they asked him to put central heating into his place in Hampstead.
Yes,
and he refused. He said, "I don't want it." He said it's going to create dust. And it's going to create a false environment. I'd rather have... but unfortunately, the opposite side of that was that it used to get very cold in there because it was an old Victorian sort of manor house.
I slept the inside of the windows. That's what I used to have.
Yeah,
in 23
we used to have that. We used to have that. I used to sleep with a hat on.
I slept with mittens.
Yeah.
Definitely, I've slept with mittens
really?
on. Yeah. What I was going to say is,
they give you mittens to sleep with. Were they tied with the string as well?
No, you idiot. And let's point out that your father, of course, was not being asked to pay for the installation of this central heating because your father never bought a house.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't believe in
rented property all his life.
He believed that all property was theft.
Must have been some kind of a communist
or
something, was he?
He was. He was a massive trade unionist. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know he was a Scottish comedy.
No, he was. Yeah, when he came down from Scotland, he was very much the father of the chapel type from the print unions up in Scotland. Yeah. And he became quite sort of. Shall we say, communistic over the course of his youth.
Didn't stop him drinking copious amounts of free booze whenever he was in Manhattan, did it?
Not at all.
A lot of it bought by me.
No. A lot of it bought by you, much of it bought by me. He also didn't stop him from getting free airline tickets from me.
No, that's
or from me buying many of his paintings when he was penurious in his later stages of life.
And me buying his paintings.
Well, you bought one painting, which you've now put in the Egyptian doctor, did you?
2.
Well, where's the other one?
They're both in the
Egyptian doctor's place.
Well, yeah. Why do you always refer to it as the Egyptian?
Well, because you told me
what have you got against Egyptian doctors?
I've got nothing against them.
I think you insult them by saying, dismissively, the Egyptian doctor's place.
Well, because he is the Egyptian doctor.
There's nothing wrong with Egyptian doctors.
I'm not suggesting there is.
I think you are.
No. All I'm saying is that he determines for me where my dad's painting is.
Yes.
So when I think of where they are, I don't like to think of the fact that there's some Egyptian doctor that you've rented a place to.
Why?
Who stares at them all night.
Sorry, I don't get this.
Well, because they should be in your house.
Supposing they were in a gallery and an Egyptian doctor walked past and looked at them, would you berate him and say, you're an Egyptian doctor, so push off, you're not looking at my dad's paintings? Would you?
A doctor. No, absolutely not.
I think you would.
No, I've got nothing against Egyptian doctors per se.
He's also an Egyptian child doctor, so I mean...
Child doctor?
Yeah, I mean, not
a genius.
No, I don't mean he looks after Egyptian children. I
thought you meant he was a child doctor. As in,
No, what I mean is, what's the word for a doctor who specialises in children? He's an Egyptian paediatrician.
Is he?
But he's not in Egypt. He works at St Heliers Hospital, I think.
St Heliers?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Carshalton. Where is it? I think it's in Carshalton, which is in Surrey, yeah. Yeah, I think he does, yeah.
Egyptian paediatrician?
Yeah,
Where
that's
do you find these people?
Well, I don't find them, do I? They come through a rental agency, you know.
I see. Okay.
I get them checked out, though.
The Egyptian doctor's rental agency.
No, you fool, you idiot. I get them checked out to make sure.
Time, by the way.
Make sure that I'm not going to be swindled out of my rent.
Yeah. Well, he must have been there for a while now. Well, I want to be sure that he hasn't hopped off with the paintings because they could be valuable, you know.
No, I doubt it.
I think they will be.
Doubt it.
They will be.
As your TV reviewer, I can reveal there are no plans for a new series.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't their previous series.
Oh, hang on, wait a minute. It says here there might be a new series. What's the problem?
That music can only mean one thing, of course. It is that Chuckle Vision, Porky Vision, is here for the week, and we haven't heard from you since sometime last week, I guess. And I can't remember what you did last week.
Yes.
I can't remember if
Broadchurch.
you finished. I think you did finish Broadchurch.
Finished Broadchurch last week. Now, I've got to tell you about Line of Duty.
Line of Duty, yes.
I mean, this is a riveting programme, I have to say. Absolutely riveting, you know. And there's one episode left now to 6.
Yes.
So it's all going to be revealed.
The denouement is upon us.
Denouement is upon us, yeah. But it's such a difficult plot to work out because the main star is Thania, you know, the actress Thania.
Yes.
Who plays...
Tandy.
Tandy.
Tandy Newton, isn't it?
Tandy Newton, that's the one, Tandy Newton.
Yeah.
And she plays Ross, the Detective Chief Superintendent.
Right.
DCS, that's right, isn't it?
DCS,
yeah.
yes.
And that's a very senior role for a woman in that sort of role. Now, the thing is, I had to go back and watch the first episode, right, to find out what on earth is going on from the start.
Yes.
What happens is, there's a serial killer on the loose, okay?
Right.
Who has a habit of cutting up its victims and burying the body parts in Epping Forest, you know, and that sort of stuff.
I thought it was about corruption.
Well, this is what I'm telling you. Yeah. This guy's on the... Now, the squad investigating it always have a senior investigating officer who happens to be DCS Ross, okay?
Yes, right.
But for some unknown reason, she is shown in the show, but it's not apparent to her colleagues, she's manipulating evidence on this case.
Right.
And the big secret's going to be in the last episode, why is she doing this?
Is this the same woman from the other show, right? The Replacement or whatever it's called?
No.
Different woman.
The Replacement woman, right, now don't interrupt here, because DCS Ross...
trying to get clarification.
DCS Ross, somebody notices that she's manipulating it. So what they do is, the anti-corruption squad is called AC-12.
Right.
And AC-12 contains the officer you've just talked about, the woman from The Replacement.
Okay.
Right, who is now drafted into DC Ross to help, quotes, help her out by the Chief Constable... But she's an undercover AC-12 officer.
So they suspect she may be up to no good.
They suspect Ross might be, old DCS Ross.
Right.
Ross.
Yeah.
Might be up to no good.
Okay.
So they drift this other woman in, who's keeping an eye on things.
Yeah.
But it has now, the last episode is going to have to clear up a number of problems, and they are these.
Right.
That the way we've been driven in the first 5 episodes is that DC Roz is actually trying to protect her own husband, who is the serial killer.
Right.
And all sorts of clues are put into place about him being in certain places when killings have taken place.
Yes.
So is she protecting him?
Right.
And did she go to the forensic expert's home in the first episode where he was subsequently killed?
Yes.
Even though... The shocking way the episode spilled out was that it looked like she was dead on the kitchen floor.
Right.
But as he was about to cut her up...
And so somebody's fingers are missing, aren't they?
Yeah, that's his fingers. Right. As he was about to cut her up with a circular saw, indicating that he's the man who's been chopping up these bodies, right? She wakes up, but we don't know what happened after that. That's never been revealed.
Right.
Except that he lost 3 of his fingers.
Sure.
Now, that wasn't because she pushed the circular saw back onto him. That's because he scratched her, and as a police officer, she knew to cut his fingers off so there would be no DNA under his fingernails, you see?
Yeah.
Now, the point is...
Did she take the fingers away, then?
Well, they disappeared.
Oh, right.
Nobody knows. But now we've got to the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
She's actually gone and shopped her own husband.
Right.
So if for the last 5 episodes she's been a corrupt police officer manipulating evidence on the case she's investigating, why has she been doing it if not to protect her husband, who she has now shopped?
Right.
She has now literally rung up her own force and said, you've got to come and arrest my husband. She actually gave him the warning and said, I warn you, anything you say will be taken down in evidence and all that.
Blimey.
But in between all that, you won't believe what's happened.
No, I can't.
She's had this wound on her wrist since episode 1.
You know, I saw something on Twitter about this, and apparently it's a really horrible and obvious wound, which nobody spotted.
No.
Is that true?
Started off as a cut.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that cut must have come from the circular saw that was being held over her in the first episode. And it still hasn't been explained how she got out of that.
Right.
This guy was kneeling across her body, was about to cut her up, and her eyes opened, and then suddenly he ends up dead, not her.
Right.
That's not been explained.
Okay.
That will have to be explained in the last episode, okay?
Right.
But this cut, nobody knows where it's come from, and why did it get so badly infected?
Yes.
It started off as a cut. Now, she wouldn't go to hospital, and you assume that is because there would then be a medical record of a doctor having to stitch up the cut. Okay?
And because it looks like one of those MRSA kind of flesh-eating bug type things now, doesn't it?
Well, now you're ahead of yourself now.
Am I?
Because in each episode, the cut got worse. Yeah. Now, in the penultimate episode, the husband even said, look, I'm sure that's more than just a scratch. Yeah. The flesh is actually starting to smell.
Yeah.
So anyway, she goes in the bathroom with another bottle of chlorophyll or something like that, to try and douse it. But then she goes into like a coma because there's a banging on the bathroom door. Yeah. And when she opens it, the man there is the forensic expert that she killed.
What?
In the first episode.
Well, how's he there?
Well, it's a vision.
I see.
Her head's gone because what's happening is...
It's a sort of Bobby in the shower moment.
Yeah, Bobby in the shower. But what's happened is this wound has now got so bad she's become delirious.
Well, it looks ridiculous. I mean, I wouldn't know how anybody could notice that.
But then the most shocking thing happens. Yeah. She wakes up in hospital and she's got one of those gowns on. She's in bed. Yeah. And her left hand is in a sling held upwards like this. Right. And the doctors, and she says, what am I doing here? What's happened? And they said, well, we had to give you some emergency treatment, And she says, what, And they say, we'll leave the room. Your husband wants to talk to you. Right. She then glances
cut her arm off, have they?
Yes. She then glances to her left to find that the top half of her left hand has gone. Blimey. Left arm. So it's gone below the wrist where the wound was.
I bet she wishes she kept that guy's fingers now.
That's a bit stupid, isn't it?
No.
So anyway,
she would have had some fingers.
So anyway... She has now gone completely off a rocker. Yeah. She thinks her husband has deliberately cut her hand off. Because...
Is this the husband that she shopped?
Well, she hasn't shopped him yet, you see, at this point. Okay. So she's in hospital. He's visiting her twice a day. He comes to visit her in the afternoon. Not there. He says, where's she gone? Right. They said she discharged herself. He said, how could you let her out in her condition? Yeah. She demanded, and all patients can discharge themselves. So she goes home. Then he comes home, and then she says, you did this for my infidelity. Yeah. So she has had an affair with somebody. Oh, right. And we think the somebody is the Assistant Chief Constable of the Force, who is also playing a double agent role. Yeah. Because on the one hand, he's pretending to be very supportive to her. Yes. In her senior investigation officer of the killings. Yeah. But on the other hand, he's getting an insider at AC-12... Yeah. to give him secret information on what they found out about the inquiry.
It's not easy to follow this, is it?
It's not easy to follow.
No.
Not easy to follow. So what we're waiting for now is the final episode to find out who has she been trying to protect in the investigation, why has she been manipulating evidence? Yeah. I mean, literally going into the store at the police station where she has exclusive access and taking pieces of evidence out and putting different pieces of evidence in. Yes. Blood samples and that sort of stuff, right? Why has she been doing all that? This is the vital question. Yes. And
will they get to the bottom of whatever the corruption scenario is, perhaps?
Of course they will.
Will they?
Of course they will. You see, she has definitely framed the guy they've got locked up for these killings. Right. And she would not admit it until the fact that more body parts were found in Epping Forest. Yeah. And they said, oh, they're not as badly decomposed as the first lot. Yeah. So everybody says it must be another body. No, what it was that it was another half of the same body, but kept in a freezer. Oh, so that's why it's not so badly decomposed. But guess how the thing then unfolded? So she breathes a sigh of relief and says, so he did kill her then, and he couldn't have been in jail when the other murder took place. Guess what?
What?
When the second lot of body parts were thrown away in Epping Forest, they were wrapped in newspaper that had a date on them, which proved that the man that they've got locked up as the killer couldn't have done it.
Because it was after he'd already been put inside.
Indeed. Yeah. So he couldn't...
So I'm quite good at this, aren't I?
Yeah, you're good at this,
I am.
So that is going to be a fantastic
And when is the final episode?
I think it's on Sunday.
Is it Sunday?
It's on Sunday,
Because I nearly ended up seeing it, and I think it might have been Sunday night.
It's brilliant.
In fact, it was Sunday night because we came back from the trip to Scotland.
Yeah, yeah.
And I came home, and after we'd stopped off, we had a couple of drinks and a relatively quiet night.
That's right.
Because we were working in the morning. I came home and I switched it on.
That's right.
TV, and suddenly here was this show
it's brilliant.
That you've been going on about. I thought, well, I can't watch this one.
No,
because I'm going to have to watch it from the beginning.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Now, let's get to another show that started 2 nights ago.
Well, let me just make a quick correction from Ian in Shenzhen. It says it's DCI Ros Huntley.
That's what I said.
Not DC Ross.
I said Ros Huntley.
Did you?
Yeah, Ros Huntley. And it's not DCI. She's a superintendent.
DCI.
She's not an inspector. She's much higher than an inspector.
All right.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it in Shenzhen.
Shenzhen, you're wrong, Ian, according to Porky.
In Shenzhen. Now, Little Boy Blue.
Yeah.
I mean, very hard to watch.
I bet.
Very, very hard to watch. You know, this is the tragic story of little Rhys Jones, 11-year-old boy, caught in the crossfire of a drugs gang and died in the most terrible circumstances. Yeah. But it's a brilliant production. It's very hard to watch. I remember his parents. I saw his parents at Anfield a few weeks later when, for the first time ever, Z Cars was played at Anfield as a tribute to the loss that the family had suffered. It was terribly moving. But where this is going to develop over 4 episodes is the investigation into nailing the killers, okay?
Yeah.
Because a society closed itself down.
And so nobody wanted to tell the cops.
There are 2 societies here. That's
a shocking situation.
There's good Liverpool,
and
there's really scally, horrible, killing Liverpool.
Yeah.
And this great cop, has got to get through it all. But the cop's under such enormous pressure from his own chief constable, who says to him, "We've got to get a result on this. I've just had the Prime Minister on the phone."
Yeah.
And he said, "I don't care about the Prime Minister. What do you want me to bring you? False evidence?"
Yeah.
He said, "I let people go because I couldn't hold them because I didn't know, I didn't have enough evidence." Yeah. He said, we're talking about a closed community here.
Right.
When I've got the evidence, I'll bring it to you."
And did they ever get it?
Well, we've only seen the first episode. There's 4.
Okay.
And it's a female chief constable, and she's clearly a woman who's, risen to the top of her job and all that kind of stuff. But she's putting the pressure on this guy. You've got to bring me results. And he says, "I will do that when I can." He's just been promoted to Detective Chief Superintendent.
So it's worth watching, in other words.
It's worth watching, but it's hard to watch.
I bet.
The grief of the parents and the way it wrecked the family is very, very hard to watch.
I'm sure it is.
Brilliant actors and actresses, I have to say.
Well, that was Porky Vision.
Yes.
Another one same time next week.
Yes.
She stands up when she plays the piano in a nightclub. Pearl's a singer. She sings songs.
I haven't heard this song for a long time.
No, I bet you haven't. No.
Elkie Brooks.
Elkie Brooks, that's
what a
right.
Fantastic singer she is.
She was a fantastic singer,
Do you mind if I just read you a couple of quick tweets?
No, please do.
Before we do everything.
Yeah.
Here's one from Gift Gaff who says, "Sadly, Jack Straw's Castle is now entirely apartments. The police station near the bakery is closed as well, and Haverstock Arms is gone too." Well, lots of people...
Jack Straw's Castle's no longer a pub.
No, I think I knew that it was closed quite a long time
I didn't.
ago.
It had a big car park at the back. You used to park my car there.
In the back, which was also the site of some nefarious
activity.
activity
It certainly
from time
was.
to time.
Yeah.
Here's one from SK who says, "First time listening at this hour and happy to confirm what Porky says still makes no sense."
Yeah, oh, right, OK.
And William says, "What other programme would you get stories on people prowling around Hampstead Heath?"
Yes, that's right, yes. Yes, family show.
Yes.
Now, you're absolutely right, that was Elkie Brooks.
It was.
She's making a comeback at the age of 72.
Good on her.
How about that?
I'm very happy to hear that. I always liked Elkie Brooks' voice. Never actually saw her perform, unfortunately.
No, that's absolutely right. She thinks that some modern singers, particularly Miley Cyrus, maybe not quite up to it as she was in her young days. But the most interesting thing about reading about her comeback and all that is that she was the original rock chick. I mean, very much so.
Really?
Each night during a 2-week stint with the Beatles, right?
Right.
She.
I thought we were going to get through this whole show without mentioning the Beatles.
Well, you can't.
There goes that idea.
She can't. She says. She said actually she doesn't like the Beatles very much. She preferred the Stones. So when she was back in the Beatles, right, all those years ago.
Yeah.
By 1964, Elkie was on the same bill as the Beatles at the Hammersmith Odeon Christmas shows. You may have gone to one of those, perhaps.
Not during the 60s. No, I was only a child.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. But she didn't find the Fabs, as they were known then, remotely attractive.
But they didn't do that many shows, did they? I mean, isn't the whole point about the Beatles that they only really existed for a brief 3 or 4 year period, and particularly live shows? Because John Lennon chucked it all in, didn't he?
Live shows about 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
And then they did Sgt. Pepper's and said, "I don't want to go on the road anymore."
Yeah.
But anyway, it says... Right, she says, I didn't find them particularly attractive. I didn't fancy them at all. And they took absolutely no notice of me in that sort of way.
Right.
She says, not
she's
even
from
George.
Salford originally. You know?
Sorry?
You know she's from Salford.
I know she's from Salford, yeah. She says, although there was a bit in the show where John and George were holding each end of a skipping rope and they thought it might be funny for me to jump over it. Unfortunately, I tripped and fell.
Oh, dear.
But they never even smiled or recognised it. And I was mortified. It was embarrassing, but they just stood there. She says, I've always been really more of a Stones fan than a Beatles girl.
Right.
And she relates this to the way she started to behave. She says each night during a 2-week stint with the Beatles, she would actually go off into a dressing room on her own with bottles of Guinness and a whole bottle of brandy.
Oh, yeah.
She said, in my early 20s...
Well, no members of the Rolling Stones?
No.
That surprises me. Wouldn't you expect...
What are you insinuating?
Well, wouldn't you expect if a girl like Elkie Brooks was a singer, hanging around with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and other men of that age,
yes,
that they would be kind of, pursuing her in some way?
Well, she's just said the Beatles didn't pursue her.
No, I know.
She just said that.
But somebody would, wouldn't they?
Well, I don't know, because, I'm not a mind reader, and I don't know whether she ever appeared on a bill with the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
You can just listen.
All right.
So she says, hold up in the dressing room with 2 or 3 bottles of Guinness and a whole bottle of brandy. In my early 20s... This mirrors sort of your lifestyle and mine, really, in Fleet Street. In my early 20s, I would be doing a bottle of brandy a night easily. I never thought anything of it. I was never what you'd call an alky, really.
Well, I beg to differ, actually. I mean, I never did a bottle of brandy a night, I have to say.
That's right, never an alky.
I mean, Pete Townsend used to do a bottle of brandy on stage when he was playing with The Who, but he was a proper rock star.
Yeah, he said, and she said, but I'd be able to sort myself out. I was very lucky that I never became an alcoholic. She says, I haven't now drunk alcohol before going on stage for 36 years.
Wow.
Which is half of her life, because she's 72 now. When I'm not working, I enjoy wine, and I'm fond of a pint of Guinness, though these days it's nearer 1 than 6.
Yes.
She says, drugs during my time with Vinegar Joe.
Yeah.
Do you remember Vinegar Joe?
I do remember Vinegar Joe.
Who was Vinegar Joe?
Well, it was the name of a band.
Oh, I see. It was a bloke, Right. So during my time with Vinegar Joe, I have used drugs. A bit of cocaine, but it was to compensate for feeling so exhausted on the road.
Well, that's all right then.
Yeah.
As long as it's only because you were tired out.
So far, we've got like 6 bottles of Guinness,
a bottle of brandy,
load of cocaine up her nose.
Yeah.
But
surprised she can remember any of it, to be honest. Maybe she doesn't know whether there was any Rolling Stones guys in the room because she couldn't actually tell who was there.
Maybe she's never been told what an alcoholic is as well.
No, quite right.
Anyway, she goes on to say, a bit of cocaine, that's all. It was compensating for being so exhausted. The schedule was was too much. It was like having a little nip of coffee, really. It just happened to be cocaine.
Right.
But anyway, then she goes on to say that she met some guy called Trevor.
Yeah.
Who she married.
Okay.
And she said, he got me off the path of habitual cocaine use.
That's good.
In the dressing room, the band would lay out all their lines of cocaine, and I would have my straw and about to take a little, and he turned to me and said, I don't think you should do that, Elkie.
Yeah.
So I didn't, because I wanted to get on his good side, and I haven't taken anything since.
Well, that's good.
So that's a reform woman for you.
That's very good.
A rock chick made good.
I'm looking forward to her returning to the stage in that case.
Yeah.
Does it say anything about when her next tour is going to happen?
Let me see.
We can go along and do it. Because remember I went to see Marianne Faithfull at the Roundhouse.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Sounds to me like sort of thing that Elkie Brooks might do
at
the Roundhouse.
Yes.
I'm sure she'd be great.
That's right. Anyway,
I'm looking at a piece here which says her original name was Elaine Bookbinder.
Elaine Bookbinder. Yeah. Wow, that's not much of a name, is it?
Well, it's an interesting name, I think.
Now, her big hits, apart from Pearl's a Singer, which was the best one, is, I remember this one, Fool If You Think, It's Over.
And Don't Cry Out Loud, that was another one as well.
Don't Cry Out Loud, Sunshine After the Rain, No More the Fool, and Lilac Wine, which I don't know. But anyway, she was obviously one of those kind of rock chicks of the sort of 60s, 70s, but 72, still going strong. So you've got to admire the woman, haven't you?
I think you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one from CCL who says, Porky says this is a family show. It's about the watershed. What family is up at this hour? Please give us the details.
Well, yes, but, 1 million people a month listen to this in a podcast. And that's why we are hoping, if you listen out there, folks, that we're going to get some recognition in the podcast awards, which conclude at 5 o'clock today.
5 o'clock on Friday, right?
5 o'clock Friday, 5 p.m. So if you want to vote for us still, please go. Where do they go?
They go to the British Podcast Awards,
right?
Which is actually pinned to the top of my the Two Mikes Twitter account.
Excellent, thank you.
If they go there, they can find the link.
If you please go there and vote for us,
I'll put it on Facebook as well, just in case. Paul says this.
Yes.
Porky's condemning MG for some romantic alfresco refreshment. Oh. Meanwhile, he used his grubby little caravan. Very true.
Excuse me, I was 18 and I bought a caravan and parked it in the farmer's field in Wales as my love nest. That was not grubby. It was.
It's not grubby having a grubby old second-hand caravan that somebody else has been using.
It was entrepreneurial. Now listen, just going back to Okie Brooks, I didn't realise that she actually sang in a band with Robert Palmer.
Yes, she did.
Now, Robert Palmer was like a huge star, wasn't he?
He was, Addicted to Love and all that.
Now, didn't he make one of the most famous videos ever, standing on the stage singing what?
Addicted to Love.
And
Might as well face it.
The three members of the group...
Who were dressed in sort of very short skirts.
I was going to say, beautiful girls, all guitarists.
White blouses, red skirts, I think, weren't they?
No, black. It was all black and white.
There was some red involved, wasn't there?
No, it was black. They were black, honestly.
Okay, maybe the red lipstick was red.
And they sashayed around, didn't they? Yeah. On very high heels with the guitars.
Yes.
And were absolutely beautiful ladies.
That was indeed Robert Palmer.
So anyway, Robert Palmer and her worked in a band together. Which one would that be? Was that Vinegar Joe?
I'm not sure if he was in Vinegar Joe.
Okay.
I can't tell you. Actually, yeah, I think he was. I'm just looking at it here. Yeah, he was in Vinegar
Right,
Joe.
okay.
So that's where they would have done it.
Okay, so what happens is Robert Palmer, a star due to his hit Addicted to Love, had been a very heavy imbiber in the years leading up to his demise. Yeah. Unfortunately, he died, I'm afraid.
He did. Well, he was also quite a heavy smoker
as well. In 2003.
Yeah, he was quite a heavy smoker and he never stopped.
But anyway, I'm not quite sure what she means by this. She says... He said he never touched alcohol until he met me. So, don't know if
there may be a lot of guys in that situation.
It was only weed up till then. So Rob Palmer was...
Weed?
Yeah, was just...
So we're going into the marijuana as well.
So he was a cannabis nut.
Right.
It was only weed until then, but shortly before he died, I heard he was drinking a bottle of vodka a day.
Yeah.
She says that as though, that was a shame. She also...
Well, it is a shame.
She also once claimed, right, I don't know whether this has ever been picked up by anybody in our profession, that Palmer had a fling with Princess Diana.
Oh, yeah.
And when asked how she knew about such private matter, she says, well, I don't know. Those days were a bit hazy, but I'm certain somebody told me.
Yeah.
I can't remember when, who, why, or where.
Well, it's not the greatest piece of evidence, really, is it?
Exactly. But she believes that the affair happened. Well, he was drop dead gorgeous, she says, and so was Diana. So I could have seen it happening.
Yes.
But I mean, when we said that we sure she was an alcoholic, she now admits that the when, who, why, or where of most situations passed her by in those days.
Yes, I mean, that is the difficulty with spending your life in that sort of state. Basically, you can't remember very much of anything.
Exactly.
And in fact, Mark puts it rather well. He says, love the story about Alki Brooks.
Alki Brooks, I love it.
It's not bad, is it?
Well done.
Now, how about this from Mark in Mexico, which I think is very, very unfair. Yes. He says, Porky, are you sure MG has given up smoking? Very suspicious that he does not have the giving up cough.
Well...
I mean, all I can tell you is if I was not giving up smoking, I would be more than happy to tell you that I was not giving it up. There's absolutely no point in pretending to give up smoking and then telling everyone you are.
I think he may have given up smoking.
Makes no sense at all.
Because of his... tremendous change in personality.
Yeah, Porky claims that I'm now much more objectionable than I used to be.
Much more. He now has what I would call king syndrome, in everything he does.
King syndrome? Yeah, you sure you just haven't got an inferiority complex?
No, not at all. No.
I think you have.
No, I think there's something very odd about you these days.
Really?
I really do. Well, there's something very odd about you for most of the 35 years I've known you.
I'm not the odd one.
It's even more odd now.
I'm not the odd one. We can figure out who is the odd one coming up next. You're the one with indoor and outdoor slippers, 55 different accounts with Sky TV, and a rather odd habit, which we will talk about later. Now, I've got this message from Bill, who's a friend of ours, and he wants us to do a little shout-out. He says, I know we don't do it very often, but he says, I want to wish my paramour and saviour, Lizzie Stevenson, a happy 39th birthday, and tell her, please, I can't wait to see her later on today.
OK, that's Lizzie.
Lizzie Stevenson.
Paramour to Bill.
To Bill, yes.
I want to say, Lizzie, a very, very happy birthday.
Bad luck, by the way.
Have a long, fruitful and joyous life, and don't worry about the things in life that... what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
Slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Or the blot on the copybook of your life.
Bill's a great guy.
Of course he is.
I mean, talk about dealing with life in general and dealing with problems and everything else. It's what we all deal with.
Of course it is.
And you try and make the best of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Listen, have you ever come across anybody who's had a nut allergy?
A nut? Funnily enough, yes.
Right.
When I was very young, well, not very young, but when I was a teenager, I went out with a girl when I was about 16, 17.
Right.
And I took her to Jack Straw's Castle.
Yeah, I know
which you might know at the top of Hampstead Heath.
Yeah, of course I do.
Because
I
worked in because I worked in the bakery up in Hampstead.
Yes.
We knew everybody, right?
Yes.
So there was never a question, because I only looked about 12. There was never a question of not being served.
Right.
And they had a cocktail bar up at the top of Jack Straw's Castle.
Right.
Which was, I always thought was rather a swish place to take a young lady.
Indeed.
And I took this girl up there, and we got some peanuts from the bar. And we ordered a couple. I used to get these things called Heat on the Heath, I think it was.
Right.
Pernod, lemon juice and some stupid drink that you drink when you're 16. You know?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Anyway, we're sitting there talking, and suddenly I looked at her, and her mouth had swollen to the ridiculous proportions.
Really?
Her lips suddenly started swelling like, you know, when you see some of these women that have had plastic surgery.
Yes.
And they look ridiculous.
Yes.
And I was like, "You're all right." And she started talking. She said, "I don't know." I said, "What's going on?" And she said, I think the peanuts are making my lips swell up.
Well, hang on. Didn't she know about this before?
I don't think she did, no.
How old was she? About 17?
16, 17, yeah.
Good God.
And I don't think she'd ever come across this before, right?
So what did you do?
I said, well, I think we better go. We better take you home.
Yes.
You know, so I had to take her home. I mean, basically, we had to...
You should have taken her to a doctor, didn't you? It can kill you, you know, these nut allergies.
No, I didn't take her to a doctor. No, I didn't care. I was like, I finished the drinks.
You didn't care?
Well,
you didn't care that a young lady you'd taken out for a drink in your care...
I didn't care.
Had a potentially fatal attack.
I didn't know it was fatal. There was nothing. She wasn't doing anything.
What's it called? Anphalic or something? When you get
encephalitic shock.
Encephalitic shock. Yeah. You didn't care.
I didn't know about it. Nobody told me about it.
Well, you should have gone and found out.
All I knew,
highly responsible.
All I knew was that instead of going and romping around on Hampstead Heath after going to the pub, was going to have to take her home.
Oh, that's what you were planning?
Yeah.
You were planning outdoor sex with a young lady of 16 or 17?
Well, I was planning on, having a bit of a walk in the woods, yeah.
Outdoor sex?
I'm not saying it was outdoor sex.
You must have...
Have you ever been to Hampstead Heath?
At that age?
Why not?
But loads of
When did you first have sex?
It doesn't matter when I first had sex. What I was going to say
is... count on your own, by the way.
Loads of... I'm going to ignore that because it's so...
When did you... Well, when? Well,
so horrible.
It's not horrible.
It's a family show, and that is a trite comment.
Well...
there are loads of perverts around on Hampstead Heath all the time.
When you say perverts, you have to be very careful what you say.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
People who like spying on others, right?
How
that to me is a perversion.
Well, how do you know that?
Because you speak to anybody who's been a policeman who's ever been aware of things that go on Hampstead Heath.
I'll tell you what.
And I'm telling you, that's what goes on.
We used to know a lot of the cops that used to come into the bakery because they would come in for a cup of tea and a free cake.
Yes.
And there was a public convenience up on the top of Hampstead Heath.
Right.
Not a million miles away from Jack Straw's.
Yes.
And some of the stories that we heard about what went on in there.
Yes.
Quite would curl your hair.
I'm sure it would.
I'll tell you that.
Now, the reason I asked you this in the first place, right,
yes,
is because there is a colleague of ours in the broadcasting world called Kate Silverton.
There is indeed.
Right?
In fact, I think today she was hosting yesterday she was hosting the Press Club Awards, the Press Club of London Awards.
Oh, was she? Right, okay.
Which the Times and the Sunday Times will be speaking to Eleanor Mills tomorrow on the warm-up. Won Newspapers of the Year.
They sort of cleaned up a bit,
They
did they? What, both papers?
Both the Times and the Sunday Times won Newspaper of the Year.
Really? Yeah, okay, fine. So anyway, I was just musing through a few things the other day, and I came across this piece that she'd once written. And the question was, have you ever cheated death?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I mean...
She had a terrible time, didn't she, with something?
Well, I'm about to tell you.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, have you ever cheated death normally brings to mind the kind of, the car crash in which you were looking to escape.
Or that sort of self-indulgent rubbish that you did in the Daily Mail.
Sorry,
the stuff that was meant to raise money for the charity for which you'd been asked to promote.
That's right.
But which actually ended up being a sort of cri de coeur about how you'd managed to save your own life.
No, it was about me being saved by the doctors at the 11th hour. Well, I had 36 hours left to live, And,
so you say.
And I was brought back from the end. But also things like, how I was nearly bombed to death in Libya and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's happened to me several times.
Really?
Anyway, her reply was, I've come under fire in Iraq, but the closest I've come to death was when I was presenting at Royal Ascot.
Yeah.
So she's presenting a show at Royal Ascot, you know what that's like, about high society, fashion, all that. After finishing work, I ate a prawn salad. 20 minutes later, when I was making my way back to my accommodation, I'd passed out in an alleyway.
Blimey.
A specialist later told me I was seconds from death due to a severe allergy to the shellfish I'd eaten, right?
Oh, God, yeah, people are, aren't they?
Yeah, but listen to this. I was so lucky that a lady walking past who had a nut allergy recognised the symptoms and administered adrenaline using the EpiPen that she carries around to save her own life.
Yes. Is that like the thing they use in Pulp Fiction?
Yes, that's right.
When they have to, they have to get her heart started again.
That's right.
And they draw the little the thing and go hit the, got to get it through the rib cage.
That's right.
Blimey.
Now, what I'm saying is that is 1,000,000 to 1 chance. You are collapsed in an alleyway, literally taking a shortcut back to accommodation somewhere in Ascot.
Yeah.
A woman walking past who might have thought you were a drunk from the races that afternoon, you know what I mean? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Suddenly recognises the symptoms, whatever they are. Maybe her face is swollen or her throat is swollen.
Yes, I think your throat swells. Yeah.
And suddenly she had an EpiPen with adrenaline in it because she herself had a nut allergy and administered. I mean, that is the luckiest thing in the world I've ever heard of. Now, when I used to work at the Press Association, where I was a big cheese, so to speak, you know what I mean? Yeah. We were doing...
Did anyone have a nut allergy there?
Well, this I'm about to tell you. We were doing a... Do you know what? I think it might have been the Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia, in '96. And what happened was there was a girl who was a member of the the team.
Yes.
And there were quite a lot of us there, about 12 or 14.
Right. That was when the bomb went off, wasn't it?
In Atlanta?
Yeah, wasn't it not a bomb in Atlanta?
Pipe bomb in the last couple of days.
Yeah, not a massive bomb, but
no, it was a pipe bomb.
Yeah.
You're right. And the other thing that happened during the Atlanta Olympics was, do you remember the plane that came out of New York and it's never been determined whether it was shot down by a missile or not?
Is that the TWA one?
Yeah.
Yes, was that 96?
That was 96.
I remember it very well because it ended up finishing off TWA as an airline.
It did.
The belief was that it was shot down by the US Rangers.
By mistake.
Who apparently have planes, which nobody knew.
That's right, yeah. But anyway, so what happened was... she was working normally, and then one night we were in a restaurant somewhere, and she went into this, what's it called?
Anaphylactic shock.
Anaphylactic shock.
Right.
And everybody was, what's going on here? Now, for all the time we'd been there, she'd carried what I think is popularly described as a bum bag around her belt.
Yes.
That's like a money belt type thing.
Right.
And we all thought that she, used it for...
just carried stuff around in it.
Cosmetics and money and dollars and in those days still traveller's checks.
Yeah.
No, it was the fact that she had one of these EpiPens in it.
Has she not told anyone, though?
Well, I don't know. She hadn't told me. That's the point.
Yeah.
And she had a nut allergy, so she never. And she must have just eaten something that had a tiny bit of nut in it. All of a sudden, it's crisis time. And I said, "What's going on here?"
Yeah.
And I called a waitress. Unfortunately, I know a bit more about this in America than we do.
Right.
And the waitress immediately said, I know what's going on here." And recognised the bag as being a medical bag and nothing else.
And
unzipped it, took it out, bang, and
you can just stick it in your arm, right?
Yeah, I think she stuck it in her neck,
right,
and just solved it just like that. But it was a terribly frightening experience because if we'd have been anywhere else, supposing we'd have been in a diner,
say you'd been in Brazil.
Yeah.
Covering the World Cup, and you were in Manaus or somewhere where it's a bit more, rural in the middle of the jungle.
Exactly.
Was there not a case recently of a guy who died, I think, or his family was suing the owners of an Indian restaurant because they served him up with something, even though he told them he was allergic to nuts.
They served
him something that had nuts in it.
Absolutely.
It's a shocking way to go, isn't it?
Well, it's not only a shocking way to go, it's a shocking thing that, we all have to be aware of. And you telling me that at 17, a young girl didn't even know she had a nut allergy, that is frightening.
Well, she didn't go into anaphylactic shock. Her lips just swelled up.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so
still,
maybe it could have been the salt. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still a condition.
I went out with her a few more months after that.
Oh, did you?
And it never happened again.
And did you take her to Hampstead Heath eventually?
Hey,
did you? Did you?
What do you mean? What are you asking me?
Well, I'm asking you. Did you achieve your ambition with this young lady, which was to have a physical relationship with her at such a tender age?
She lived in Highgate.
Lived in Highgate?
Yeah. Her father was a brass band leader.
And people doubt why I say...
Cromwell Avenue she lived in.
Why I say you have the morals of an alley cat. A young teenage girl, you were leading her into the woods because you wanted Rogerisation on a mass scale.
Well, when did you start?
I'm not going to talk about it. It's a family show, and I don't talk about those sort of things. I think those are the sort of things that remain private.
Really?
Okay,
Private.
Oh yes.
Well, even though you've posted pictures of you carrying some woman out of the sea.
You took on
a Rogerisation holiday down to St Ives.
But we'd been going out with each other for 2 years by then. I didn't meet her one night. And then suddenly say, come with me. And she said, oh, where are we going, mate? We're going somewhere romantic. No, we're going to Hampstead Heath because I'm going to, Rogerise. I have Rogerisation ambitions.
That's not how I spoke to women, as you know. And you haven't asked me how I met her. I did not meet her that night.
Oh, yeah.
I worked with her in a similar situation.
In a bakery?
In the bakery.
Oh, how strange.
Yeah.
So you work with a bakery 1 minute, next minute, let's have a drink after work.
Yeah.
Stage 3, up to Hampstead Heath.
I don't know why you find any of this unusual.
And plunge into the, the long grass.
Hey? I wasn't plunging into anything.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
We are the Two Mikes, lots more coming up. We've got a nice text here from somebody who doesn't actually give his name, but he says, my daughter took your podcast down to London where she ran in the marathon. She also listens while she's training. Her name is Mandy. Would you please tell her all her family say well done, including Rio the cat? But unfortunately, he doesn't give his name.
Right.
So this is for Mandy. Your dad sent this in, but you've got a cat called Rio.
Right, Mandy, congratulations on your wonderful efforts in the marathon and all that. And remember, there was a very famous song in our generation by 10cc called Mandy.
There was.
It was about
I'm Mandy, fly me.
Yeah, wasn't that an airline hostess?
It was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I saw her walking on the water as the sharks were coming
something like that.
For me.
That's quite a good memory to remember that.
It was about an airplane crash, and Mandy, the
airline.
airline.
Crash?
Yeah, the plane crashed into the ocean.
Right.
And Mandy, the airline hostess, rescued the man from the sea and saved him from the sharks, but then perished herself.
Oh, see.
It's quite a tragic story.
See, I didn't even know that all the... I mean, I knew the song was about I'm Mandy, fly me, but I didn't know all that.
That's right, yeah.
Now here's one from
go on.
somebody called Fisher who says, ego mail, has that been invented especially for El Planco?
Don't know who El Planco is, mate. Nobody of that name on this show.
Yeah.
Now, listen, you are a bit of a culture vulture.
Well, I don't know about that.
So I want to tell you about something which is taking over the world.
Yes.
Now, have you been to the Tate Modern?
Not particularly recently. I was there, I think, last year.
Okay. Now, the Tate Modern is a very distinctive building. It used to be a power station, didn't it?
It did indeed.
Yeah, okay.
Bankside used to be called Bankside Power Station.
Bankside Power Station, absolutely right. Now, what they've done is, and this is not a news story, but there's a development on it, they built a luxurious block of flats right next to it.
Right.
And I went to see one, and it cost about $675,000.
Well, it was probably a while ago, right?
It's now worth $1.5 million. So I didn't get round to buying it, and I should have done. But anyway, the point of my story...
It's ridiculous how quickly these prices go up, isn't it? I mean, is that probably, in 3 years or something?
Yeah.
Maybe less?
Yeah.
Doubled in price?
Yes, I would say 3 or 4 years, because when they started building it. And then Bankside, where it's built, became popular, and they started building others.
Right.
And once it becomes a hotspot, it just shoots up.
Yeah.
Like the tower next to us here, the
The whole section from Waterloo to London Bridge,
that's right,
which includes Bankside, has just gone mad.
It's gone mad, yeah. So I should have got in there and I didn't. But anyway, the point of my story is, it doesn't matter how much you pay for your property.
Yeah.
You think that if you're wealthy, you can secure privacy in your home.
Yes.
Because you think, I pay a lot, then I'm buying privacy, right? Guess what's happened here? It's amazing. The residents of the flats next door to the Tate Modern are now suing the gallery.
Yeah.
Because what's happened is they built an extension onto the Tate Modern, which puts the people inside the Tate Modern gallery within feet of the windows of the luxury flats.
Oh, really?
Some of which, one of the flats, which is now part of the legal action against the Tate, cost £19 million.
Yeah.
And a few feet away, people are able to stare straight into the living room.
One of the things they've got, I don't know whether this is the same thing, but you can go to the top of the Tate Modern now, and there's a sort of bar and a restaurant up there, I think.
Right.
And it's got windows all the way along the top.
Yes.
Now, that would have been there, I think, from the beginning. So, but I mean, even there, you're high up, and so you're able to look straight into the building sort of opposite.
Right, okay.
But this sounds as if it's even closer.
Oh, this is even closer. They've built this new extension, and they've got planning permission for it, so... clearly there's no breach of planning rules, or else they wouldn't have got it.
Sure.
But it says the legal action alleges that the gallery's new viewing platform, is just metres away from the block in places, and the people in the flat say we are now a public exhibit and being stared at constantly whenever there are people inside the
But you see, that's
modern.
an interesting thing, isn't it? Because in New York, for example, people see that all the time. And I mean, if you remember going all the way back to... Do you remember 10, that movie with Dudley Moore?
Yes.
Where one of the things that people did in California was they all had telescopes.
That's right.
And they stared at each other from opposite sides of the canyon.
That's right,
And in New York, for example, I mean, many of the
apartments... What was the beautiful actress called in 10?
Bo Derek.
Bo Derek, I'd say.
Many of the apartments I lived in New York, which weren't ever in particularly big, high buildings... But you kind of were able to see across the street straight into the rooms opposite.
Exactly.
And people knew about it and nobody really cared.
No, but you see, what's changed is that the generations have changed. Because guess what the main complaint is?
What?
The residents are suing because they claim that videos and photos of them living their personal domestic lives inside their homes have been uploaded onto social media.
Right.
And police have been called over concerns about images of a child.
Oh, dear.
That was filmed on one of these blocks of video, which then went on to, social media.
Yes, I guess in the days when I was looking across my road.
Yeah, you weren't recording it, were you?
No, because you didn't do that sort of thing.
That's right.
I mean, there was nowhere to put it.
It says, as a result, they're alleging that they have been denied a safe home environment, not just for themselves, but for their young children.
Yeah.
One visitor to the 360-degree platform at the top of the gallery's £260 million switch house extension, that's all we're talking about, which opened last year to widespread acclaim, described it on TripAdvisor as a voyeur's dream.
Really?
Get up here and see what you want.
Blimey.
A sign asks visitors to respect residents' privacy. Well, that's not going to work, is it? Hey?
Well, maybe you just get some better curtains. Well, get some net curtains.
That's what the guy said. Sir Nicholas Sirota, the outgoing Tate director, before he left last September, said, well, why don't they just get some new net curtains?
Yeah.
People purchasing these flats were in no doubt that Tate Modern was going to build its new switch house. If they weren't, their solicitors should have told them.
Right.
And he's probably got a point there.
Well, he probably has.
You could probably sue your solicitor and say, why didn't you tell me about this?
I mean, the thing about all of these situations, right, is that, a lot of people would like to, for example, keep no curtains on their windows because for them, this is why I bought this apartment.
Well, it's a light issue.
Not just a light issue, but also I wish to view my gorgeous view of London.
That's right.
Because I paid an awful lot of money for it. Yeah. It's like these people who say they live in such a safe neighbourhood that they like to keep their doors unlocked.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you're an idiot.
Yeah, of course you are.
If you keep your doors unlocked, you're going to get robbed.
That's right.
If you but some of them do it because it somehow makes them feel superior.
Yes.
Because they go, well, where I live is so nice. And I live
I feel a bit like that in Gosport, you see, because at the end of my lounge, there is one big window. That's all it is, which is a sliding door.
That's I've seen it. Yeah. Out to the balcony.
Yes, that's right. And if I pull the shutters back, I have blinds and curtains.
Yeah.
So if I open the curtains and then pull the blinds back, right? Is it the blinds? One of these things.
Well, Venetian blinds.
Venetian blinds, that's right. Yeah,
are they the ones that are vertical?
Yes, they're vertical.
Or are they sort of horizontal?
No, it's lovely when you switch the button and they go out. You get this swishing noise,
Oh, I know.
They come back and open the light up.
They're not
the window.
electronic, are they?
No, they're not. I use a cord, actually.
A cord?
Yeah, a cord, yeah. But what I'm saying is that then I can sit at the other end of the room.
Yes.
If, for instance, I'm having, a bit of pate or something like that.
A bit of pate?
A bit of pate, yeah. yeah. And I can stare
Why
out.
would you be having a bit of pate?
Well, I sometimes do.
Isn't that bad for you?
No. And I can stare out over Portsmouth Harbour for about a mile. Yeah. And in fact, right across the English Channel to the Isle of Wight. Yeah. And nobody can stare at me.
Well, what about if they go up to the Spinnaker, the tower?
Well, if they go up to Spinnaker and get themselves a pair of binoculars, they can. But why would they? There's hundreds of flats there. Sure. Why would they pick on mine?
But if, for example, somebody did what this guy's just done, and they put up a second tower block that blocks your view, which you wouldn't be happy about, but also would mean that somebody could look in. Yeah. You probably wouldn't over-open the windows.
Absolutely. But anyway, look, the story doesn't stop there, because I tell you why. I like St Ives a lot. I've been there a couple of times in the last few years. I think it's great, particularly actually in autumn, when all the crowds have gone and all that, and you've got it to yourself and the wind's whipping in off the ocean. Yeah. I think it's great. But anyway, when I first started going there a couple of years ago, the Tate had opened a little outpost there.
Oh, yeah.
It is now massive. I'm just going to show you now if you look at the blue and the red lines, the Tate is expanding in St Ives. It seems to have taken over about 1/3 of the whole town.
Absolutely.
And
well, obviously making plenty of money.
Yeah, exactly. But, it used to be a little fishing village, St Ives. It's now it's described now as a European cultural centre.
And, of course, because it's all about art, nobody's ever going to question it in the city council.
Did the people of St Ives sign up to become a massive cultural centre? Extension to the Tate Gallery in St Ives, which will open to the public later this year, will include an extra 500 square metres of space, publicly accessible roof garden. I mean, blimey, O'Reilly, the doubling of the space will allow us to tell the story of modernisation better.
Right, but I mean,
what's all this about?
Well, in the end, right, if you've got a house in St Ives and you don't like it anymore, sell it, because all of these movements by people like the Tate Gallery will have put the prices up to such an extent that you'll have made a fortune on it.
Well, right? Marcos
and it's progress, which you normally are very much in favour of.
The gallery's executive director said that the people of St Ives had feared that the gallery would overpower the town.
Right.
OK?
Well,
but now says they're very supportive because we brought in 11 million quid last year through 250,000 annual visitors. I don't want St Ives to be full of arty-tarty people who go off to St Ives should be full of people getting bladderated on holiday.
No, not true.
And having a good time.
Incorrect.
Not a load of cultural nerds who go there to look at some junk, which is described as sculpture.
But you don't live in St Ives.
Yeah, but I go there on holiday. I don't want to be bumping into all these, sort of highly intellectual people who literally walk around the Tate Gallery looking at bits of junk described as sculpture. It shouldn't happen in St Ives.
You're such a Philistine.
No.
It's going to happen somewhere, and it's not going to happen in Gosport anytime soon, believe me.
No.
Just me and a friend, feeling kind of groovy, working on a movie. Yeah, right. But we did nothing, absolutely buckets that day. And I'll say, what the hell am I doing drinking in LA at 26? Slow,
We are the two Mikes, and it's been quite a while since we picked up with Sandro Minetti over in Hollywood. He's our favourite Hollywood correspondent, of course. He always fills us full of wonder and amazing stories from that part of the world. Let's find out what's been going on. Yeah. Sandro, very good afternoon, very good morning to you, I should say.
I will try and live up to that billing. Greetings from the land of amazement and wonder.
Yeah, the land of amazement and wonder. How is the land of amazement and wonder? What is the big story? I'm told that the new hot couple are Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Johnny Depp's ex-wife Amber Heard.
That's right. Now, you'll remember the tempestuous breakup between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Their marriage lasted all of just a few months, but the rows were ferocious, the accusations were wild, the payout was huge, and Amber Heard has rebounded into the arms of someone even richer and more admired than Johnny Depp. Yes, the Tesla creator, the Mars mission man, Elon Musk, who also finds himself single, having split from his British wife, Tallulah Riley. You might remember her from the St. Trinian's films. And so now, yes, they're a couple. Elon and Amber. What will their nickname be?
Well, I mean, Amber had to settle for only about 7 million quid from Johnny Depp, so I suppose that's not going to keep him for very long, is it?
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk has got 7 billion, rather than 7 million. So, yes, indeed. So it'll be interesting. So will they end up sort of down the aisle? What will happen, or even up the aisle?
Absolutely. Well, talking about that and domestic situations, Sandro, what about the situation regarding Serena Williams? She apparently inadvertently let the world know that she was expecting a child.
If you're like me, a bit useless on social media, you probably relate to what Serena Williams did. So she's taking a photo on her phone of her growing baby bump, and she tries to store it, but instead she presses send on her Snapchat link and inadvertently tells the world that she's pregnant.
Amazing.
She wasn't planning to announce it until weeks later, but just by pressing the wrong button, the world knows.
Yeah.
And so she's revealed that in an interview. She's also revealed that this is not the end of her tennis career. She's looking forward to returning and playing again as a mum and having her baby sort of cheering her on as she wins even more Grand Slams. So let's see if she does.
Indeed.
Right. Now, Porky and I were just talking about some rather lavish, costed apartments here in London because the Tate Gallery viewing platform now looks right in on them. So people are a bit unhappy about that. But if they really are that unhappy, they could go over to your part of the world in LA and pick up where Jay-Z and Beyonce have left off, right? Because they've just put in a $120 million bid for the most lavish house in LA.
Yes, indeed. It's in Bel Air. It's just around the corner from Nancy Reagan's gaff. And this place has just the 9 bedrooms, but 4 swimming pools and a 15-car garage and bulletproof windows. Right. And so that's what 120 million gets you.
This is not this place that was doing the rounds on Facebook a while ago, was it? Where it's got a 15-car garage, but it's also got about 20 really, really expensive classic cars in it as well.
No, that's the one. If you haven't got your toys already, you can buy the helicopters and the classic cars. But that's not a problem for Jay-Z. He needs a bigger garage. You know, he's already got 14 classic sports cars. Yeah. So the idea of a 15-car garage is appealing to him and worth going as high as 120 million. And of course, they're expecting twins at the moment, so they've already got their daughter Blue Ivy, a couple of kids coming along, and if they have a fourth one swimming pool for each child.
Yeah, well. Absolutely. Now, Sandra, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but somebody sent me some information about Jackie Collins. I always thought Jackie Collins was actually even more glamorous than her very glamorous sister Joan Collins, and they've sent me details of an auction which is taking place because she had so much material possessions that her daughters have now said, look, there's no point in hoarding them, we're getting rid of it. And they're selling things like a pair of diamond earrings, $67,200, her unique car with her own registration plate, Lucky 77, that was the name of a character in some of her crime novels. That's going for
Lucky Sant'Angelo, I know, I've read them.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, go on.
I am going round hoping there might be one or two bargains here. Now Jackie Collins had very expensive taste, but I'm hoping there might be a few sort of cheaper things going there that I can afford on my budget. But Jackie, I really miss her. And this is the thing that happens now in Hollywood: estate sale.
Yes.
It happened with Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds as well. And so just the other week, Tori Spelling was moving house and was selling all her rubbish. And not so long ago, I was at Cher's place. Right. And so it's just bizarre to be just in the garden of these huge celebrities where they've got all the stuff out on the lawn and you want to make a bid for stuff, you know.
So it's like it's literally like a boot sale or a like garage sale, is it? Yeah. But except that, for instance,
exactly that.
In her sale, there's one ring alone, worth £120,000. I mean, they just can't leave these lying around on a table in the back garden, can they?
This is why Beyonce and Jay-Z are moving to the right neighbourhood, because they can get all the furniture they need for their new house just by going to the local, garage sale. That's fantastic.
Yeah, well, you can actually,
Amazing stuff.
No problem. Yeah.
Now, what about this feud that's going on between Aretha Franklin and Dionne Warwick, which always makes me sad to hear because...
Welcome by.
Yeah, that's what they should do, right? That's what they should be doing. But instead they're in a big row about Whitney Houston. I mean, 3 fantastic singers. What on earth are they arguing about?
Well, normally we see celebrities arguing with each other over Twitter or social media, but Aretha and Dionne are a bit old school. Aretha sent a fax. Yes, there is still a fax somewhere in Los Angeles, and she sent that to the Associated Press, totally bad-mouthing Dionne Warwick, saying about, how she hates her and she doesn't like her very much. And this all goes back to Dionne Warwick claiming in public that Aretha was Whitney's godmother. Now, Aretha says not only is this not true, it's libelous. She doesn't want to be associated with all the drug scandals and relationship scandals around sort of Whitney Houston and withdraw it or else sue. And by the way, Dionne, you're bad news. And so they're playing out a feud over fax machine. I love it.
So she's not in any way related to Whitney Houston, because I'm sure I've seen that written in various pieces from time to time.
Yes, that is incorrect. You have seen it written in various pieces, and Aretha Franklin has decided to come forward and say, I'm going to stop this now because this is outrageous. And, she's taken her time over it. But for whatever reason, the time is now. She says enough time has passed. stop this rumour. Admires Whitney as a singer, but she doesn't like the negative publicity circus that's around the late singer, and says, I don't want any part of it. I love a nice, juicy celebrity feud.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, I suppose the name of the moment on everybody's lips is director of Silence of the Lambs, Jonathan Demme, who died yesterday from cancer at 73. I mean, a fantastic director, made some very, very interesting films, and he was quite sort of unorthodox, wasn't he?
Was, and working right up until the end. In just 1 hour's time here in America, the new cop series Shots Fired goes out, and he directed tonight's episode of that. So at 73, he was still working and very much in demand. As you know, TV is the new movies. That's a hot new series, and they wanted his expertise directing it. Both Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster, who won Silence of the Lambs, have led the tributes. And, a terrific director. And, he's gone. But what a legacy he leaves in Silence of the Lambs, a film that's been mercilessly copied by about 35 other movies, but never bettered.
Absolutely. Is Brad Pitt now making more of his life than he has been in the past troubled sort of months and years?
It's funny. Just the other day, I saw Brad Pitt outside a cinema, and that used to never happen because he and Angelina travel when they were together with 8 to 16 bodyguards. And so Brad was just out to be on a red carpet at a premiere, and there was no bodyguards at all. There on his own, drove himself, and just got immediately surrounded by fans who wanted selfies. Seemed to quite enjoy it. He has a different life. Now he's away from the Angelina circus, but it looks like he's setting his differences a bit with Angelina. She has sole custody of their kids following the divorce, but he's just had the first sort of sleepover custody visit. He has been able to stay a night in the house with the kids. So hopefully the frosty relationship between those two is melting just a little. But that was a savage breakup. Talk about Aretha and Dion. Those two went from lovers to haters very quickly.
Indeed, and last time we spoke as well, Sandro, we were still in the midst of the kind of the shock morning after period, I suppose, of Donald Trump winning the election. Has it all calmed down a bit now in La La Land? Are they all sort of getting on? Are they all getting on with life, or are they still having rallies every 5 minutes?
No, they're still having rallies every 5 minutes. Everyone's shocked by the statistic out today that 94% of Trump voters said they'd still vote for him again tomorrow. So despite all the negative publicity, it seems to be working with the voters who put him in there. Here in Hollywood, there is an impending writers' strike. Hollywood could all shut down with the screenwriters down in tools next week. But no one's talking about that. They're talking about the situation in North Korea, and they're like, never mind the writers' strike.
Yeah.
There might be no world left.
What about a nuclear strike?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's what dominates the conversation.
Although is that going to?
He's all they talk about.
But if the writers' strike goes ahead, is that going to put the mockers on some sort of because we know that some of these TV shows don't have that much lead time, So are they writing for shows that are still yet to be broadcast? If you know what I mean.
Well, live shows like Saturday Night Live, that will have to shut down, and the nightly chat shows like James Corden, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, all those shows will have to air repeats because those are written on the day. And then as for upcoming shows, most of them are written months ahead and filmed months ahead. But, there'll be no auditions in Hollywood. There'll be no new material. And so if it lasts a long time, it could be devastating and have a knock-on effect on the whole community. But as I said, people are thinking, well, we'll probably all be dead next week anyway, so why bother?
Yeah, indeed. Well, listen, Sandro, let's hope that's not the case and we still have a chance to talk to you once again before the end of the world. That's Sandro Bonetti over there in Hollywood, or indeed possibly West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, covers the whole area.